Good morning, America. This is your good friend, Dr. Turi, and today we're going to do something a little bit different. I started a few weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago, I can't exactly remember, but I started to do a series on various signs. And I'm going to pick it up from today because the moon in Aquarius, of course, regulates also astrology. So I got to adapt to that energy and in order to serve you better. So what I'm going to do today, I'm going to start with the sign of Aries, okay? And I'm going to explain how the dragon is affecting the sign of Aries, plus the characteristic of Aries. Nothing that you cannot read from drterry.com if you go on the top of my page and click on Aries. But there is a few things that I want to share with you. We are halfway through the year, so I'm going to give you a little bit of my 2019 Nostradamus forecast. However, it's important for you to understand also that I'm going to cover just the basics. There are such a things of long-lasting planets, such as Saturn, the great malefic. Wherever Saturn is located in your chart, you will show where you could be very weak. In my case, I have it in the sign of Virgo, which regulates the elimination principle, or you got your intestines, and I had cancer, which I had known that before. Be more careful what I ingested. Then you also have Neptune. Neptune regulates your imagination, your creativity, your sensitivity, and could mean also an addictive personality. I'm talking about now pot and drinking and depression, overactive imagination. There is also Uranus, which represents your eccentrical side, where you are going to somewhere somehow attract extraterrestrials, the good or the bad. Again, there is all sorts of things to say about the planet Uranus. Then you also have other planets that are always in action, and cannot cover those. It's important to know where the planet Saturn is, where Uranus is, where Neptune is, and most of all, most importantly, where Pluto is, because that is the regeneration planet, the life and death planet in your chart. And wherever this planet is in your chart, by house or by sign, if you do not do what Pluto wants you to do, you're not going to regenerate. Okay, and that's where you're extraordinarily prone to get infected by the reptilians. Again, I cannot cover such a range of very deep mystical informations, which are into the $10 little Nostradamus Dragon forecast. But I always start the forecast by giving you a generic on the sign. So that is something that I want to do today because I think it's appropriate, knowing the moon is still in Aquarius. We're going to first, of course, discuss some of the news, of course, that are on CNN. I will not cover them all because there's too many, God knows what else going on out there. But let me give you some ideas, again, that reflect my quatrain in my window. The quatrain really clearly enunciate aeronautical accident, okay? And again, top stories today. Plane crashes into a house in upstate New York, FAA says. Okay, and this is not to also forget about this very famous guy, a racing driver, who miraculously, him and his wife escaped death because their plane crashed. Okay, so his name is Unhart, yeah. His plane bounces twice before he landed somewhere on the highway, whatever it was. So again, two very obvious predictions set by those keywords: aeronautic, airplane. Again, You will escape only if you are into one of your positive cosmic biorhythm, and if not, you're going to die. This is the way it is. So there's not much you can do to really avoid death. That's why it's said, oh wow, it is said it's an act of God. Yeah, he ain't gonna act. It's not an act of God. It's the planet in action being manipulated by the reptilians. So once you know, well, you avoid taking chances. Okay. All right, so what else do we have in the news? A woman walked up to a stranger assaulting her in 1983. Oh, that was a year before I came to the United States. A DNA match finally led to an arrest. Again, you understand that the technology is used and stimulated by the draconics that led to the arrest of this rapist. So it's pretty shocking after so many years, thanks to technology, thanks to the draconics, stimulating the mind of all those scientists to provide justice. What else do we have involving the news today? A father is charged after a 12-year-old girl hits a man and a dog with a SUV, killing them. Children, keywords mentioned children. You know, the father wants to do anything to make kids happy, but you don't give an SUV to a 12-year-old unless you're looking for trouble. And obviously the stars are shocking news, unexpected things, and then here you go. Negative cosmic biorhythm cost the life of this old guy, his dog, and changed the life of both the father and the little girl. What do we have also involving children? 22-month-old girl, that's a baby, my God, dies after being left inside a hot car in New Jersey. So far, I have announced this 3 or 4 times in previous videos. And you know the game by now. Your subconscious will make you forget things or leave things behind. Like last night, I went shopping, and I met my neighbor next door and his wife. She's pregnant. She's going to have a baby, so we were very much into the discussion. They're going to come here to my house to celebrate. But when he left his wallet behind. He says, he came back, and he didn't come back. The girl says, excuse me, sir, your wallet. You see? And then he came back and I said, hey, by the way, I'm just letting you know, if you go to the dentist, you're not going to leave anything behind because they're going to hurt you. But if you like the place, or if you like something or somebody like me, then you're going to leave your wallet behind. He goes, my gosh, I didn't think it that way. I had no idea, never did that. They come here all the time. See, your subconscious will stop you. So now this 22-month-old baby died because either the mother or the father had connected with the drama, the fights, the problems that is connecting that little girl to his life or her life. Either she now cannot go to college, she has to work 2 or 3 jobs to be able to support the child. The father or the mother is in jail full of drugs. So this is an association of negative energy, and comes the reptilians that they put like a wall. Okay, you're gonna close the door, and that child is like closing the door to all your problems. Okay, and now that child is left behind and dies. It's a passion, is extraordinary power. The power is mind-boggling. That's why I have a book called Beyond the Secret that teaches you all that in great detail. Put your hand on that book. Educate yourself, because you're not immune not only to your subconscious playing tricks on you, but also the reptilians using them to change your life, and not for good, and not for the good, I meant. Okay, your life will change, all right? You end up in jail. So this is, those kids are dying constantly, are victimized by idiocy, because the parents are not educated, and nobody is telling them, hey, invest in Dr. Terry's book, Beyond the Secret, and understand what your subconscious and the reptilians can do by manipulating it. It's all about education, my friend. Knowledge is power, ignorance is evil. All right, what else do we have? That's waiting for a liver transplant. She prepares her family for the worst. Now, what's sad? The good news is that those doctors, have all that it takes to save that woman, but there is no donors. A lot of people dies and don't give their organs. They could save lives. They're selfish, or I don't know. It's sad. It's sad. This lies, I don't know. ISIS claimed responsibility for attack at a wedding that killed 63 people. It goes religion again. 3 dead following clashes between soccer fans in Honduras. Now you see why you would never see me in those big, huge, congested places doing negative windows or doing one of my negative cosmic biorhythm, because you could be caught like a lot of people, religious, crazy, lunatic died in stampede. The same happened here. Emotions override the head. Sports, religions, entertainment, all is controlled by the reptilians, by greed, and they don't care to bring thousands and thousands of people together and let their emotions go wild and kill each other. It's just insane. That's why you will never see me in any of these places, ever. Never been there, never will. There is so many news, good or bad, but most of them are pretty negative. You know, it's just the sad reality. Uh, it's just the sad reality of what's going on nowadays. And you can see the very rich people out there, buying a Bugatti that cost $9 million, and well, they can afford it. That's beautiful. That's wonderful. But you know, that's a lot of money for a car, and I like those cars. Believe me, I'm an Aries Dragon's head. Uh, I have a love a very powerful car. That's why I love H2 Hammer and things like that. But if I had the money, I don't think I would put it in a car. At least I put it. Maybe when I was young, I would have done that, but now I would put it to serve society in a better way. But that's how it works, you know. If you're lucky, you can go and play the lottery, and then win. That's all it takes. So again, I don't have to regurgitate all the negative news that's going on out there. But what I'm trying to tell you here, my friends, is um, check if something unusual happens to you. Check if there is something out of the ordinary that takes place. Like today. Today you're getting something out of the ordinary. Okay, so you're being touched uh, by having a different stuff coming from me to you. Always remember, ask yourself, what did I give the world today? Karma is real. You throw something up, it's going to come down for good or for worse. So I would think, yeah, and ask myself, what did I give the world? And if you said again, I have nothing to give now, you got a lot to give. Give my wisdom. Okay, share it. Share it. You make people happy. People are going to be saying thank you. And remember, the future is a reincarnation of the thought. You're constantly bombarded with thoughts. Some are really, really progressive, and they're going to give you a lot of opportunities. Some are very, very negative, and they're going to reach you like a knife. You got to be careful with how you present yourself to the world, what you say, what you do, because you're not conscious of the results of all your thoughts that will disturb or transform matter or your body for that matter. That's why the power to heal yourself is very real. Of course, if you know how, this is what I'm going to be teaching in some of my cruises or in my next show with Tom Dongenori, Coast to Coast producer in LA. So there is a lot of interest in things that I'm going to be teaching. All right, so let's talk now about Aries itself. Aries is ruled and controlled by a planet called Mars. Mars is the lord of war in Greek mythology. Okay, and we call it the red planet because it also represents two people going against each other that don't agree, and then finally break their head and bleed. Okay, and that's why the ancient carved the rams to represent the animalistic instinct of fighting when you don't agree for either very various purpose, or in the animal kingdom, of course, for reproducing for the female, and then some of these animals will die, and humans will die in the process. So Mars is a very, very powerful planet. Um, to represent your masculinity, the location of Mars depicts how you're going to do it. If your Mars is in the sign of Leo, you're going to use fame and you're going to use power and you're going to use ego to go after what you want as far as the female is concerned. Okay. If you have it in Libra, then you're going to use psychology. If you have it in Virgo, you're going to use natural health. And then there are women that respond to that. So the location of your Mars represents your masculinity by house upon sign. Okay. In a female chart, Mars represents the type of man that she's going to be attracted to. Okay. So it's important. Let's say, for example, Mars is in Capricorn in a female. Well, she'll be looking for older guys. You will see those very young girls attracted to older guys. Oh, they say, well, it's an Oedipus complex. They're looking for the father and they never had, or they did, they missed, whatever. So that's a sense, but it's stimulated by Mars being in the sign of Capricorn, because Capricorn regulates older people. So it means also the people who have names and power. It could mean also the gold diggers, because Capricorn means being a very famous person who has reached the top of the mountain with a lot of notoriety and peseta. So they attract the gold diggers. So there is, if you have, if a female has Mars in Cancer, since you will be looking for home, for security, for home, for food. If a guy has Mars in Cancer, well, he would invite her for dinner and then show his talent as a great cook. And then from the stomach and the head is going to get the rest of the story. So it's all about the power of those stars in your chart that depict who you are. I call it the UCI, or your unique celestial identity. And it's a reference and a dance of all the planets affecting you, making you who you are, a very different and very unique human being. All right. Now, Aries is the baby of the Zodiac. And as a rule, they tend to learn by mistake. Yeah. And I was a child, they say, hey, don't touch this, it's hot. And really? Oh, that hurt. And then that's not enough. You're going to do it 2 or 3 times. That's Aries. They learn by mistake. As a rule, they like to talk. I mean, if you look at David Icke, is an Aries. Oh, does he love to talk? I mean, he was born in April. A lot of people say, well, he's a Taurus. You're not just a Taurus. His sun sign is in Taurus, but he was born in the constellation of Aries. Remember, I practice Nostradamus astrology. Okay? And believe me, David can talk you to death. He loves to talk. He's a writer. He's a communicator. He's got his gift like everybody else. And some people says, well, no, he's a Taurus. And so was Hitler. Okay, no, Hitler was born in April. Okay. And April is Mars. Mars is Aries. And Taurus is Venus, love and light. We talk about Taurus tomorrow. Okay. So I don't think, again, Hitler was pretty or loving. I don't think he was a loving person at all. Okay. So you need to understand Nostradamus' way of handling the stars 500 years ago, when computers and watches didn't exist. That's why I redesigned the software. Okay, we understand each other as far as Aries and Mars. So you are every sign of the Zodiac, period. You're not just an Aries or Taurus or whatever it is, but I cannot go through the details. In order for me to go through the detail, then you see those? I have to do those, either on the Skype face-to-face, explaining everything in great detail, or make you a tape, whatever it is. So it's complex, but it opened a brand new door to the understanding of what it means to be human and how to reach your goals that were set already by God cosmic design. That's what it comes down to it. Okay, and being cosmic conscious is definitely something that should be mandatory for every human being, so they would understand their sins and virtue, understand what God is expecting from them, so to speak, and apply their will instead of letting the reptilians using their stars and just literally kill them and make their life misery. Yeah, Peter agree with me. All right, now he's gonna get going forever. Something is missing. Peter, be quiet. All right. So now Aries is also very competitive. I mean, I don't know if you No, somebody born in April as a female, but we could talk about Ali, the boxer, Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay. Okay, his daughter, she's a fighter, she's a boxer. There you go, an Aries tail. She's an Aries tail. The dragon is in the sign of Aries, and then that means that female is absolutely beautiful, very magnetic, sensitive, creative, everything you want. But she has a masculine Aries drive to go and beat other women. And then they said, well, it's because of the father. Father has nothing to do with it. This is why this guy, the other day, 2 or 3 days ago, I made a video. This guy was scratching his head. He said, I can't believe it. My son is not into sport. You heard me when I mentioned about this famous guy. He was upset because he tried everything he could to bring his son to like sport. And his son said, I don't give a damn about sport like me. He's an intellectual. He's smart. Okay. All right. So I was myself still born with an Aries dragon's head. The head of the dragon in Aries very often means being born a leader of the mind. You probably heard of a guy called Van Braun who developed the V1 in Germany. Well, he was born like me. He was the head of the dragon in Aries. Again, Aries, Aryan race, Hitler, Germany. That's why Germany is an Aries country. That's where you will find the best of the best steel to make all these weaponry, machine gun, tanks, bullets. It's in the mountain of Bavaria that the best pure steel is to be found in Germany. It's not an accident because iron is not what you make a knife with. That's what you make those weapons. And again, the sign of Aries can be used to heal or kill. With a knife, you kill somebody for $1 if you're infected by the reptilians, or if you're the doctor, you're going to use a scalpel to remove a cell, to remove a cancer. So understand that those stars can be used positively or negatively depending on your connection with the divine, depending on your experiences, on your education, depending also on your vulnerability to the reptilian infestation. There's a lot going on here. And so I'm trying to explain to you what an Aries is all about. So if you're born in April, okay, you also have a natural aim for health. A lot of Aries people don't like the doctor. They like natural thing, some of them become fanatics, so they would rather die than to see a doctor. I know my wife is an Aries, so it's an easy one to explain. And she loves to talk. She could talk nonstop. She loves to write. She's a poet. She's a very smart girl. She's a beautiful woman. She's like a child. Aries is the baby of the Zodiac. Now, on the medical aspect of my work, you start with Aries, you start with the head, and then Taurus, the neck. Gemini, the lungs and your arms, your hand, Leo, love, your heart, Cancer, food, your stomach, the intestine, Virgo, the elimination principle, down to Scorpio, sex, and all the way down to Pisces, your feet. So each part of the human body is controlled by those stars. Aries is the head. So if you have a negative aspect to Aries and headaches and sinuses, or like me, you're going to get stitches and broken nose and broken bones because you're wild. You're prone, you're accident prone. I should be dead so many times with my dragon set in Aries, but I have the head, so I always escape. Lucky. Jesus, especially when I was young and stupid. But anyway, so, and this is why people don't understand. Wow, these are Pisces, it's supposed to be soft and loving, and man, the Dr. is a terrible charge. We don't know about my head of the dragon in the sign of Aries. So understand, being born in April, you're like the baby of the Zodiac. You're going to be very much consumed with your own hand, your own self, and that could make you selfish. This is where you have to be careful, being born in April, being in Aries. Not to let selfishness and being totally consumed by me, I, and I. And that is the Aries energy. Okay, so most of all, you were born to uncover yourself, discover your potential, and to become a leader of some form. If you have a strong Aries, you'll be in the army and the Navy, you'll be a racing driver, you'll be a boxer, you'll be involved in anything and everything that is ruled by Mars, the Lord of War, the Lord of Aggressivity. And remember, Mars rules also the animal kingdom and how they treat themselves with their natural weaponry, fangs and claws, and how they tear them apart to on themselves apart and in each other's. So you have to understand the Mars is a little bit more than a planet where all our scientists want us to go and live on Mars. That's stupid. This is never going to happen because it was not designed by God to do that. Well, when I say we're never gonna, it's never gonna happen. Or let me retrace, rephrase that. We're already there with technology, and which is beautiful. That's why technology is developed to do. But now to stimulate the mind of very vulnerable, non-conscious kids to commit suicide in one of their bubble to live on Mars is totally, totally stupid. So the soul of the cosmos is designed by God to for a principle, for a purpose that bypass the normal five human rational senses. There is a mysticism, there is a secret, there is a divine purpose involving the cosmos that was built by the Draconis long time ago. And they brought all those planets who have very different energy that makes up the final end result of who we are. Very, very complex, immortal human being. And it's, when I say immortal, I'm talking about spiritual, the spiritual side of the human experience, not a physical body, because nobody will exit this planet alive. It's just the way it is, because you cannot be born somewhere else before you die. So you're born to come back to dirt where you came from. And again, I'm going to let you know that there is no death. There's no reason to fear death. If I die, I hope to die a violent death, because I've been through death like 2 or 3 times in my life. And each time I'm knocked out, I don't remember anything or where I've been, where I came from. So violent death is a good death. If I had to choose, because I know also what it means to die slowly when I contracted cancer. And then going through all those emotions was absolutely terrible, terrible, terrible. I didn't want to lose my wife, my family, my dog, my life. I got so many things to do. I didn't want to die. And I managed to survive it. But again, how can I today teach you about fighting cancer or avoiding completely cancer if I never had cancer before? Okay, it's pretty much like, talking about UFOs and extraterrestrials. How can you talk about ETs and UFOs if you have never seen them or never dealt with them? Well, that's all I did all my life. So that makes me a little bit different. And then for me saying that now, I am the bigger egocentric guy on the planet by saying the truth. But how do I need to say it? You don't speak Arabic. You don't speak French. So I have to use the only words I know how to tell you exactly what it is. And it is what it is, because that is all. That is it. It's so simple. So again, as far as the sign of Aries is concerned, there is also a subconscious fear of never finding the person or ending up alone with all of those born in April. It's part of the rules. There's so much more involving being an Aries. It's not just your first house, what I just mentioned. You have a second house, which regulates the way you're going to make money, how you're going to build your self-esteem. You could be a millionaire, but if you're constipated every single day, you're going to spend your millions to unconstipate yourself. So that tells you that money doesn't mean happiness, right? I'm sure you understand me. Then you have a way of talking, of thinking. You have a way of reaching your stability, your nucleus of love and security, creativity, your health, your marriage partner, the type of people you would attract, how you're going to die, how you're going to react to money. And that is a big one for Aries. Okay. If you get involved with anybody born in April, make sure to have everything straight and square when it comes to money. Because in the house of money, they become the most powerful sign of the zodiac. They become Scorpio. Okay. And then that's why a lot of Aries will do absolutely anything in order to get the money. Okay. And that is just the way they are. They're very, very smart. They exactly know what to do. Whenever you have Scorpio in your chart, this is where you're going to be the most powerful in the entire experience of you being on this earth. And that's where you're going to die or regenerate in the process. So it's important to know what's going on, not only in the 8th house of death, which means other people, money, how you're going to get there, whatever it is, but Every single house has a very specific meaning, very specific purpose. And becoming conscious of this gives you such a lean, such a power, such a control over your own destiny in order to apply your will and avoid the reptilian infestation. You also have the way you're going to educate yourself, the way you're going to respond to partners, the type of career in public studying the universe has for you, the type of friends and wishes you're going to attract, and your subconscious drive. There's so much. And combined with this, now you have a natal and a hidden dragon. So I'm just telling you one thing about Aries. You just heard it. Okay. So finally, to really, if I have to summarize everything about Aries, it's a baby of the zodiac, totally consumed with his hand, totally consumed with his inner being, and starting a brand new level of experience on this dense physical world. So that's why you have to, if you deal with an Aries, you have to remember they don't know otherwise. They're like babies. It's why they're called the babies of the zodiac, while Pisces is the oldest sign of the zodiac. Aries is the head. Aries is the top. Okay, so they have to uncover themselves and they have to reach that position where they become a leader of the mind, because Aries was the head. So if you're a psychologist, if you're into the eye, if you're a dentist, chances are you have a very, very strong Aries. If you get a problem with the eyes, a headache, sinuses problem, chances are you have a negative affected Aries, or maybe Saturn is in the sign of Aries. So if you put your hand on the 2019 Nostradamus Dragon forecast, not only will I give you what Aries energy is all about, probably more detail, because when I write, I channel better also, but also the rest of the long-lasting planet that how going to affect you until the next dragon moves in May 2020. And I have to start to write the 2020 Nostradamus Dragon forecast for all signs. But in order for you to really appreciate the 2020, you need to go into the 2019. Say, that's why I give it for $10. And by the way, the new 2020 is going to be $25. Ain't going to be $10 anymore. So I give it for 4 years for a lot of people to see what a simple Nostradamus Dragon forecast can do and how precise it is. So go to drturi.com, okay? Locate the Nostradamus Dragon forecast or any of my newsletter at the bottom. You have the option. Get that for $10 and understand the rest of the story of the long-lasting planets, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto affecting you in 2019. And once you have digested that, if you like it, hey, be ready for the 2020, which will be definitely much better, because every single year I can only improve myself with my cosmic wisdom. All right, so remember, we are now slowly but surely moving from the shocking energy still there, aeronautic and fire. In fact, we had, if I recall, 10,000 or 30,000 people in India that was relocated because of a huge fire. The key words mentioned fire. So auto-analyze yourself. You're already being touched by astrology, okay? And it's different. And even me, yesterday or the day before, I suffered this shocking energy. You know, this guy, bam, 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 knocking my door, making my dog barking, going crazy. I didn't expect that. Next thing you know, I left and I was pissed off. Trying to see what the hell was knocking my door. This guy disappeared. So I proved to you that to be ready for unexpected things to happen. So here we go. Now, how did you get affected today? Well, guess what? You've been affected by this shocking, unusual, futuristic, humanitarian astrology, new age of Aquarius astrology, cosmic winds. Make sense? All right, my friends. Again, we come at the end of this reading. God willing, we see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll talk about Taurus, which is a very different sign. So, remember, what did you give the world today? Well, if you cannot give anything, at least share about the true cosmic wisdom and help humanity to get better. And if you like it, click I like it, Dr. Turi. And if you have any question, hey, write me a little words. I will always find time to answer you. Until then, God bless you. Make it a beautiful day. Bye bye.